Now, for more on this, we go over to the newsroom with Rihem.
Thank you, Mark, again. For further analysis on the escalating tensions in Lebanon, we're joined by Professor of Political Science and Specialist in Israeli Affairs, Dr. Ayman Shaheen, who joins us from Dublin on Qnews. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. First, can we start off with the major criticism that Netanyahu's government is facing, in addition to the Israelis in general, facing from leaders, specifically someone like the French President Emmanuel Macron? Do you think that this indicates that Netanyahu's government is very close to being isolated globally?
Yeah. Good evening. Actually, thank you for welcoming me. And regarding to Netanyahu, actually, after a year of this war against Gaza, this genocide war against Gaza, and then within the last few weeks started another war against Lebanon. This government, actually, I can say it is a fascist government, and that's not something radical to consider it as a fascist government. Since 7th of October 2023 till now, this government actually announced many targets, many targets. Nobody can actually recognize what are or what is the target, the Netanyahu's government's target. Many targets. He wanted to, for example, to occupy Gaza Strip. He wanted to establish military administration in Gaza Strip. He wanted to dismantle Hamas. He asked even on the 7th of October, if you remember, he asked Palestinians of the Gaza Strip to leave Gaza because he's going to launch a very devastated war. That's in his words, actually. He asked Palestinians of the Gaza to leave Gaza to give the Israeli army the opportunity to dismantle Hamas. So he wanted to occupy Rafah. He wanted to has control over Philadelphia border. He wanted to control the Rafah crossing, the only border between Gaza and the world through Egypt.
Yes.
Then he wanted to dismantle Hezbollah, and another ground war he launched against South Lebanon.
I see what you're trying to
he
get
wanted
at,
a
Dr.
new
Ayman.
Middle East regime. That many targets.
Yes.
Actually, this government announced, this Netanyahu announced. So this is the real fascism. This is
Yes,
the
but
real
does that
fascist
actually mean that this government
That's
could be
Netanyahu.
isolated?
What's about Smotrich and Ben Gvir? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that this means that this government could potentially be isolated or treated the way, for instance, South Africa was back in the times of the apartheid?
Yeah, actually, that's remind us of what exactly happened in South Africa during the apartheid regime. It is an isolated. Today, Israel is an isolated, between brackets, state. Even the traditional Israeli allies, the West, for example, the UK, the France. Yesterday, he accusated President Macron regarding about the Macron's speech that to halt the sending weapon to Israel. And look, the real traditional Israeli friends in the West, the French, the British, the Belgium, the Dutch, the Spanish, all of them are criticizing them. The European Union, many times they criticized Netanyahu, and that's on the official level. But also on the public level, you can see the march in the streets in the West, in the United States, in London, in many UK cities, in Belgium, in Spain, in
Yes, sir.
France, even in Germany.
There's
Who,
widespread, yes, as you were saying, sir.
yeah,
There is
even in
widespread,
Germany. That's publicly, actually,
yes,
Israel
exactly.
lost
Which is
its
why I want to ask you,
ethics
sir, since
regarding to
publicly
the
they have
international
had
public
issues.
opinion. Israel is a state without ethics, actually. That's the reality
Yes.
that Israelis will face in the future. And Israel will pay that price for the killing of thousands of kids, women, old men, the devastation of Gaza Strip. Even they are devastating, started their same target of
Yes, but sir,
devastation of Lebanon.
because this is the news bulletin, so we would like to
Yeah.
sort of get to what we have to ask. Since you were saying there is generally a consensus around the world that the Israeli actions in Lebanon are just not acceptable, why do you think that the Israelis are continuing to intensify their aggressions on Lebanon, specifically in the last few hours?
Yeah, actually, that fascist government won't be able to continue launching such aggression in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Jerusalem, in Lebanon, without the support of the American administration. I do believe that American administration are lying. What they are saying is something different. What they are practicing. They are with the ceasefire. They wanted ceasefire with Lebanon. They tried their efforts that what they announced, the White House, the spokesman, the Minister of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and even the president. They are saying something and they are practicing something different, totally different. Without that support, military support, financial support, support in the media and in the international organizations in the Security Council, who actually is protecting Israel of issue of that the Security Council issue a real specific resolutions against this type sorry, of aggressions, of genocide against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. It is the United States who are using its veto power in the Security Council. Even the United States are again. They are talking. For example, let me give you
Sir,
a
I apologize. I
very
have to cut you
clear
off there.
example.
I'm
They
so
are
sorry, but
with
we're
the
out of
two-state
time for this
solution,
segment of the news
and when
bulletin
there
because
is a
I'm so
vote in
sorry,
the
sir.
Security Council.
That was the professor of political science and a specialist in Israeli affairs, Dr. Ayman Shaheen. Thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we had to cut it off and cut it short.